Hi guys, Barry and Chris here in the Performance Studio at Broadstone Golf Club. We thought we'd come in and just run through the new sim range, new drivers from TaylorMade, replacing M5 and M6. Just going to run through the main performance benefits that you should see in this, what TaylorMade is saying is going to get you more speed and ultimately more distance with your drives, and explain the differences between the new ones and the previous models, the M5 and the M6. So Chris, what are those main differences?
So the big thing that you've heard TaylorMade talking about in the launch of this driver is the shape of the sole. So SIM stands for shape in motion. What they've simply done is redesigned the direction that the sole essentially is pointing, stretching the shape of the golf club or the shape of the sole back into the deep part of the head. Ultimately adding stability, adding forgiveness to your tee shots, keeping the face a lot more stable because that weight is stretched that much further back. Also the direction that it points in, if you look at a kind of pretty traditional, I say traditional driver, last year's driver, this part of the golf club points straight back, whereas with the sim you've got it tilted slightly to the right essentially as you look at the golf club, and that's designed to create more speed in the direction that the golf club's travelling through the ball.
So as you're coming down into the golf ball, this is very aerodynamic that way, but as that club's coming down into the golf ball through there, that part they found was creating drag. So as that sort of crucial point of the swing where you're trying to create as much speed, that sort of from hit down into the ball, that part was slowing it down. So they've tilted that this year, angled it that way, so on the way down that's not creating as much drag, it's a lot more aerodynamic, and they're picking up a lot more speed coming down into the ball. It's a lot, they say it's nice and slippery through the air, through that crucial part of the swing to create more speed.
And there's lots of, we went to the launch, when was it, a month ago, yeah, November time, a couple of months ago. And there's lots of great stuff that they've done with the aerodynamics in wind tunnels and that kind of stuff, and I think you're going to see a little bit about that in the marketing and that kind of stuff. But you know, like always, product to product, you're seeing gains, potentially not huge gains, but you are seeing some gains. You know, and ultimately, if there's a product there that you're going to be able to gain speed from, you're certainly going to gain distance rather than obviously lose distance. So it's a pretty unique idea, and so far, you know, we've seen some pretty decent results with it. Top down introduced a new colour. I think they're calling it like a chalk white colour.
Really light grey, isn't it?
Yeah, lots of stuff that they were talking about, why they picked that colour. I think it's quite popular in the car industry.
Yeah.
Talking about lots of Porsches and
like
Audis. Yeah. You know, using that kind of same sort of slightly off-white colour, and then obviously the sort of carbon fibre in the top, that really nice kind of slatey grey colour with the blue. It does look fantastic to look down on. It's a really great looking golf club. You know, it does sort of scream hit me at it. You know, you want to give it a hit as soon as you sort of see it. Really,
it's a nice classy look.
It looks fantastic.
Always amazes me how when you get an old product, I mean M5 and 6 looked fantastic, still do, but as soon as you compare it to the new models, it's night and day. That looks old already. And it's only just been replaced by this one.
Yeah, you see it. Yeah, so see it a lot with cars or phones. Yeah, same kind of thing really. But yeah, we're really excited about it. You've got the three different models within the range as well. In the sim, you've got the sliding weight, which is pretty sort of trademark, I guess, now for TaylorMade. Bit of adjustability. TaylorMade are claiming about 20 yards difference from furthest right to furthest left in the maximum draw and fade setting. We kind of see, looking at strike location, nice to be able to dial in where someone's striking it out the club face, where that weight's positioned underneath the strike to give you a little bit more ball speed. Yeah, that little bit more adjustability because that weight's a little further, well, because there's a weight in the front of the club face or towards the front of the club face, going to essentially see that spinning a little bit less, I would imagine, than the standard or than the max. Max is your real kind of high MOI, again really deep, low CG, It's going to be a really stable golf club, stable driver. We're definitely seeing a little bit more of a trend towards that, I would say.
Trying to make the game easier.
High MOI, real forgiving golf club. And then we did really well with M6D type last year. Again, a little bit closed in the club face, sits a little squarer. Again, just to really take out that sort of right side of the golf course and allow someone who struggles with that high right shot to kind of keep it a little bit straighter. But yeah, like I say, we're really excited about it, and we're going to hit some shots and see what the numbers are.
Yeah, we'll give it a good comparison to M5 and 6. We use the same shaft, same loft, same settings as far as possible as we can. Be interesting to see, because M5 and 6, great products. Did really well with those. I've had M6 in the bag all year and absolutely loved it. For me, it's been really stable. It's been a great fairway finder for me. Debatable, like the 4 times I got on the golf course this year. And TaylorMade have got their work cut out to try and beat it. M5 again.
Okay, so we've got Trackman fired up and ready to rock and roll. We've got Barry's own M6 driver, the one that you've been using all year successfully. You've enjoyed it. It's been a pretty good setup for you. Hazardous smoke 6 knot in there, so a little bit heavier in the shaft. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Just get a bit of an idea of how this is performing to start with. Nice, looks nicely on the line. It's good.
Yeah, I can find a fairway.
That's straight. Is that the kind of area you're in and around 102 club speed, 152 mile an hour ball speed?
Yeah, somewhere around there. As a little spinny, usually I'm about 2.4-ish, something like that.
Lower in spin.
Yeah. Take that as an opener.
That's a great shot, yeah. And again, obviously, in fittings, how many balls do you try and get someone to hit in a fitting to get a proper idea of what's going on? It kind of varies, doesn't it, from player to player? But
All I'll try and do in a fitting process is just, as soon as their club speed is stabilised, then they're pretty much warmed up.
Yeah.
Usually you start with a driver and you go, okay, might start for me at 98, and then after 3 or 4 shots it's going to stabilise somewhere over that 100, and then I would say that's my normal speed going in.
And then still until it starts to dip again down.
About
30,
get down to 80 again, it's time to go over.
30, 40 shots I sort of see, then there's often a little bit of a drop off.
Yeah.
So we're just going to hit, let's go another 2 maybe. Good. That's nice. Really good.
I'll take that one. That one will miss the trees in Turkey. Didn't quite catch that one.
Consistently in and around 100 mile an hour, 150 ball speed, so very good. Okay. Good bunch of shots with Barry's own driver there in the M6. Going to just have a direct comparison with the Sim Max, again, which is the driver in the range that replaces M6. Haven't got the adjustability, like for like, change in direct comparison.
Shaft,
same shaft, same loft. Let's have a little look.
It does look lovely.
Sits nicely, doesn't it?
Sits really similar to M6, slightly different shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look
Swing there. Good. So straight away, a little jump in club speed.
not a great strike.
Similar kind of ball speed, but I think, look, a lot of the time it kind of starts with that speed, doesn't it? If you can give someone in a fitting, if you can give someone a little more club speed, a little more ball speed, the potential for the yardage is always going to follow. I think a lot of the time on tour they're looking solely at club and ball speed, because they know the fitters, ourselves and the fitters out on tour, they can dial in direction, different weights, moving weights around.
You can make that work.
Yeah, if you've got the speed there, that's your foundations for for longer shots. You know, and even TaylorMade aren't saying this should be, you know, 20 mile an hour faster or anything daft like that. You know, it's just each year you're going to have little incremental changes. They all add up over time. So if you take our average, we keep data on who we fit and the year of the products that they're coming into the studio with to look at the current products. And our average is about, average length for someone's had a driver is about 3 or 4 years. So obviously over time these differences are gonna start to add up.
Right, that's 4 and 4.
Yeah.
Seeing a little bit more speed, which is good. Didn't strike it as well as I did with my own, but that's no surprise with my own game and going in then into something completely different, even though it is the same shaft. Even a slight difference in head weight will make that feel slightly different.
Let's have a little closer look at some of the numbers.
Yeah, let's look in there. Good, so looking at the numbers in there, looking at M6, my own one to start off with, top speed of 100, it's down a touch on what I'd normally do, but we saw that sort of 102, which I'd say was my normal. Good ball speed, smash factor's good, a little spinnier than usual, seeing the kind of numbers I would normally sort of get. Ball flight's fairly consistent up there as well, pretty good hits,
Yeah.
smash factor would say.
Yeah.
Chris, if you could just get the new SIM one on there as well,
Yeah.
SIM Max.
I think you know, again, looking at differences in ball flight, pretty similar, aren't they, in terms of heights and that kind of thing. So you got one gone a little bit further
Just
left.
a little more inconsistent with that. I didn't strike any of those as well as I did with my own.
But that you know, that first one is ultimately the claim that TaylorMade are making regarding the aerodynamics of the product, and we're gaining what 2-3 mile an hour extra club speed.
Yeah.
So like I say, that's the thing that you're then going to be able to build on and work on. Ball speed is up, but again, you should probably get a little more out of that for the amount of club speed,
Yes.
which is then down to the strike. Just on the few shots that you hit, because we saw a little bit more spin, I actually saw a little bit lower launch as well. So, you know, again, once you dial those things in, you're then going to be able to get, you know, substantially more yardage. You can sort of see here that we're getting 14 launch and 2.9 spin compared to 15 and 2.7. So again, that's the importance of your fit there, isn't it? Because even though you've gained speed, because the spin and launch characteristics aren't quite there, again, we would, and that's why we were talking about the number of shots you would hit. Like 3 or 4 shots is quite a quick test. You'd want to, you know, expand on that a little bit, but you are gaining club speed, you're gaining ball speed, so we know there's potential there. And again, we would just want to try and creep that spin down a little bit if we could.
Yeah, but that's on strike more than anything, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously product-wise, if only there was a product out there that had that speed and spun a little less, which there is. So we're going to go and hit it.
Right then, we're going to step in and try SIM, see if we can shave a little bit of spin off. If we can maintain that speed increase and reduce that spin, if I can try and find the middle of the face a little bit more, then hopefully we'll see some more distance.
So this is the one with the movable weight across the front of the face, so it should spin a little less than the standard one. Actually, quite a difficult fit is Barry, because you need the low spin, but you also need forgiveness.
Yeah.
A lot of forgiveness.
Just need.
So again, with that one there, so again, that's a good example where the ball speed kind of stays pretty similar to where we had it at 152, 153. That one's actually a little down, but it's gone further because that spins off of it. So it's really, that's probably where your kind of on-course testing comes in a little bit. Trying to get a bit of an idea there again. Yeah.
Right at the bottom, that one.
So again, you look at that one, club speed's up, ball speed's way down because you hit it a little iffy. Spin's really dropped off the planet, but the distance is kind of still there. So it is that kind of, you know, I would say for you, you're probably more of a SIM Max, but if you do continuously see that little higher launch, higher spin, could potentially be a case of it's a little duck left, but nice,
That's tell you one, isn't it?
nice ball speed and reasonably low spin on it. Yeah, if you do continuously see that little higher launch and higher spin in the SIM Max, then it might just be a case of knocking the loft off of it a little bit, keep the property of the head exactly the same, crank the loft down a little bit, that would probably open it up, because you can see that miss is a little left on you as well. So that's Sim Max 9° lofted down a touch. Probably be where you'd be at, I guess, just for the consistency of it. But
that's exactly what I've ordered.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Let's just have a quick little recap of those numbers, and then yeah, really interesting sort of quick test there. Looking at those numbers again, what we had with M6 was pretty solid numbers. Really good speed out of the Sim Max, a little more club speed. We matched that pretty much identically with a standard sim, the adjustable lower spinning sim. Maintain exactly the same ball speed, so both just as quick as each other. A little increase on M6, which is great.
That's the big one.
Big ones there, yeah, lower in the spin. That was with one that was really low, but you know, you're seeing pretty consistent numbers across the board. Slightly lower spin rate in there. Because of that lower spinning one, you can see the carry actually is a little down, but then he's gaining in rollout. So that would kind of be the thing to sort of expand on a little bit. But yeah, really impressed all round. I think.
Yeah,
it's going to be a pretty exciting year.
It's supposed to do, which for us is great. The reason we're not seeing great numbers for that to start off with is because we're just doing that with the same shaft all the way through. For my driver going into this year, I'm going to be doing a lot more testing, different shafts, different weights, different balance points, trying to get that dialed in so that I get that same kind of consistency and a good smash with the new driver. And if I get that with a different shaft and more speed with an aerodynamics, I should be hitting that ball further. I'm just looking for that level of consistency I had with M6 in the new product. But yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't see that when we get that dialed in properly.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, so there's been a lot out there at the moment about, you know, how you review or how you change, how you compare and contrast clubs. I mean, ultimately, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You know, there's the different players are going to react different ways to different clubs, and ultimately, you never really know how it's going to perform until it's in your hands and you compare it against your own driver. And a lot of the times, like these kind of things where you're comparing one driver to another, or 1 year's driver to the next year's driver, isn't really true to what you would see on a day-to-day basis as a fitter. Or you know, when we get people in here, like I said earlier, you're looking at a 3 or 4 year sort of buying cycle. So you're not looking at the guy who's already had an M6 fitted last week, because that's a cracking driver still. You know, we're still fitting M5 and M6 products. Yeah. It's the guy who's got the RBZ, or the guy who's still in R11, or you know, whatever it may be. They're the guys who you know, they've had use out of the driver, and then they're going to see bigger differences in what you
get someone coming in now with an older product like that, anything over sort of 3 or 4 years old, you'll see a massive jump rather than just the little bits we've seen in that.
Yeah, you should do. But then again, it's then about who or the type of driver that they've got. If someone comes in and they've had a driver for 7 or 8 years that they absolutely love, they hit it dead straight every time, and they just want to, you know, they don't really want to change, they love this old club, then it's going to be difficult. You put something new in their hands, it's going to be really difficult for them to actually convince themselves that they want to change it. Whereas the guy who's picked something up off eBay or Golf Bidder, and they've bought something that they think might work and they've never been able to hit it, they're the guys who you're going to find bigger differences, where you hear those 20, 30, 40 yard sort of claims from a lot of people, and that can happen. Like you see that happen reasonably regularly for someone who isn't, you know, too into the driver or clubs that they use at that time. So the underlying kind of message really is see what it does for you. It's going to do a different thing for everybody. Generally, you're going to see that kind of trend in the Sim and the Sim Max. Sim's going to spin a little less. Max is going to spin up a little bit more, potentially give you a little higher flight, but certainly more stable. Yeah. So yeah, compare and contrast. The D-type, which you know we would expect to sort of turn over a little bit more, so probably be the worst club for you if you could ever use.
Yeah, that's going to go off the planet, really, isn't it? That's going to be unusable for me. But no, definitely one for you to have a go with. Whether you're looking to change or not, come in, book a session in,
See what
give it a
does.
try. See if
Yeah.
it gives you more speed. See if it's outrageous marketing by TaylorMade again,
Yeah.
or whether actually the performance is backed up what they're saying in there. So yeah,
Cool.
come in, give it a try.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Right.
guys. Nice one.